So today's task is to go ahead and start taking notes on your sources. At this point, you should have completed these first two rows for each of your three sources. You should have the citation and a summary that gives the overall picture of the source. Today, we're going to focus on taking down notes from your source that are pieces of information that you can include in your body paragraphs. So on your chart, I've given you several bullet points. You need to use each one of these bullet points to write down notes from your source. When you're using these bullet points, if you hit enter, it's going to create a new one. So just use your mouse to click on each one. That way it's not going to create a bunch of new bullet points. But I gave you this many for a reason. And that reason is to make sure that you have enough notes on your sources in order to write the research paper that you're going to write on your topic. You're going to need a lot of information on your topic. So you have to fill out every bullet point for each source that you use. So let me show you how I did that with the source that I showed you yesterday, which is an article talking about Dolly Parton's reaction to Black Lives Matter. I'm going to click on this link. That's what you should do for each of your sources. Click on the link that's in the chart that you've already put there. And you've already kind of skimmed through this source. This time, what you're going to do is read through for details. Now, this source is a pretty short source, which is good for me to show you that you can fill out all of those bullet points, even on a short source. And I'll show you what I mean. So one of the first things that I did is I saw this short paragraph in the article that talks about, in this interview that she had with Billboard, she was talking about the controversy around one of her businesses, and she said that she was guilty of, quote, innocent ignorance and would never dream of hurting anybody on purpose. And so I thought that was a good quote. And so what I did is I highlighted that. Notice there are quotation marks already here. I'm going to tell you what to do with that in just a minute. So I'm going to use this as a quote in my paper. So I highlight the whole thing and I'm going to copy it. Now, copy and pasting is not a bad thing. It's only bad if you don't cite it correctly. You can copy and paste information from your sources all day long. You just have to know how to cite that information. So going back over to your source card, you can see where I've actually already done this, but I'm going to walk you through how I did it. So I'll take this off. This is the same quote that I just copied. And so when you go over here, you want to right click, and this time you do want to click on paste without formatting, so it doesn't copy in the wrong, like highlighting or funky fonts or anything like that. The shortcut for that is Control-Shift-V if you would prefer to do the keyboard shortcut. So here's the quote. Now, if you leave it just like this and you copy it into your paper, you're going to get a 0 for plagiarism. Let me say that again. If you leave this quote that you copied straight from the article just like this, then you will get a 0 in your paper if you use it. In order to fix that, this is what you have to do. You click out of the highlight, you add quotation marks here, and you add quotation marks here. That tells me as a reader that you are copying this sentence word for word from this source. There is another problem that we need to go over in this quote, and that is that this quote already has quotation marks in it. And look how it looks at the end. You've got quotation marks, quotation marks. You never should have quotation marks together. So what you do is you change the quotes that are inside the big quote to single quotes. So you hit the apostrophe key for all of those double quotes on the inside. I'm changing that now. If you have any